Hollow. One of my
Mr.
favorite.
Hollow.
Mr. Hollow. I love that guy's voice. Just whenever he talks, tribute in my name. This is one of my favorite ones because I'll be walking around the house and I'll like find a cookie and I'll just like think to myself, tribute in my name. Anyways.
Pity.
Anyway, we've got Cognitive and Envy Gaming going on up here. Cognitive already taking game number 1 very, very confidently.
Game. Yeah, absolutely. So Envy Gaming is going to be blue, Cognitive on the right-hand side, and Cognitive is going to be your first pick, first ban. Will Envy actually ban out the Asmodan today, good sir?
Well, Cognitive bans out Sylvanas, but Envy bans out Lost Vikings. So they're still more afraid of a Lost Vikings pick than they are still afraid of that Asmodan. And Cognitive with the abrasive first pick, Abathur.
So Illidan? Illidan, anyone?
Illidan, Zeratul, Johanna, Abathur works so well with all of these.
Abathur, Illidan, Brightwing. It's ridiculous. It is legit ridiculous. But yeah, you can throw Johanna into that. Any kind of big sustain warrior will easily fit into this comp. So Envy Gaming, they're saying, okay, well, we're more comfortable playing against Illidan than playing with Illidan. So then they will take Zeratul.
Yeah, and that's a really good snipe here. They're going to be able to take away the ability for that Abathur Zeratul, and that's a very good thing here for Envy.
Now remember, Cognitive has Gloron on their roster. Zeratul's, Kerrigan's, Illidan's, it's all up for grabs. And look at this counter right there as well. Brightwing to be joining Zeratul. They're looking for all the counters right now.
Yeah, they're trying to mitigate as much as possible. Guess what? Cognitive's still able to pick up that Illidan now.
It was an insta pick.
Yeah. There's just, okay, they can take Zeratul. Can they take Zeratul Illidan? No, they can't. So they're going to take Zeratul Brightwing. So we already have Illidan by getting that first pick Abathur.
Yeah, and Jaina going to be joining them on that back line, which is now the second round of bans here. NV Gaming. What can they actually target out here? Uther comes to mind. If I lost Sham too.
Sorry, I accidentally hit the mute button and did not accidentally hit it back up here again. So, yeah, Uther would be a pretty good one. I mean, Illidan Abathur already is really good enough by itself. So, I don't know. We could go a different couple of ways here. Honestly, at this point, they need to get Muradin, and that's going to be scary if Cognitive bans out Muradin next. So for Envy, they're already in a trouble spot. I don't know how they're going to be able to deal with this. However, Cognitive, I know what their next ban is probably going to be.
Yeah, the ban is, I mean, I'm kind of curious what we're actually ticking down here. We're into our pool time. I always want to call it pool of time. I don't know why. But then I just always think like Zelda. The Ocarina of Time.
You know, it's
brain works in weird ways.
It's so hot here, summer in New York. I need full time. That's what I need right now. Envy bans out a New Barak. Actually, a very good ban here. That's going to take away at least one of those Blood for Bloods.
Yeah, so the Anubarak is, I mean, he's a great diving buddy with that Illidan as well. Would I have actually pegged that for this build for Cognitive? Maybe not. But Cognitive, I mean, they're actually still not even going to get the first picks out of this. So if Envy Gaming didn't ban Uther, I almost feel like that they have to take it. But they already got a Brightwing there as well. If they give an Illidan a Divine Shield on top of an Abathur, I think things are just going to go really downhill really quick.
Yeah. Well, that's... I'm trying to think. I mean, honestly, like, Cognitive could go anything. They could pick up, like, Lily right now, and they'd still be in a pretty... Okay, that's too drastic. But...
Lily ban? Yeah, that might be a little...
Tassadar. Okay, you know what? Actually, that's a pretty good ban here. They already have the promote on the Brightwing, so they want to make sure that Tassadar does not have the ability to be on Envy Gaming and get that double promote, because that's going to be the only way to mitigate those Abathur Locusts, and possibly the only way that Cognitive can be taken out in this game, because promote compositions against Abathur Illidan, I think is the only way to really mitigate as much of the ridiculous team fight that Cognitive already has.
Ridiculous team fights, man. It is okay. NV, they're just saying no Johanna for you. I think they saw that potentially coming up there as well. Think about it. The condemn into a metamorphosis. It's free hit points. It's guaranteed free hit points, and you can't stop Johanna because she pops Iron Skin. So, so far, NV has been counterpicking marvelously. Not sure about the Anubarak ban, but their counterpicks have been on point.
Yeah, their counterpicks have been really, really good, and picking up that Johanna, you know, as soon as you get like Soma transference on Abathur at level 13, which the NA absolutely loves. EU loves, in fact, the other one, the one that gives you 2 charges on Spike, which is really funny to see like the really difference in talent change there. But you get Soma transference, you put that on a Johanna, you get a Spike burst coming out there with the Abathur, and all of a sudden Johanna's in a really good spot health-wise.
Well, Mr. Sparkle Wizard was going to be a Vala there for NV Gaming, so good back damage coming out there from the Vala as well. Will she go multi-shot a little bit more? I think it depends on what these next picks are from Cognitive.
Though we've been seeing a little bit more of that Hungering Arrow build, and they've got a very, very finite number of targets that are going to be sitting in the middle of their team. That's going to be that Illidan. Abathur doesn't count his body even when he has a hat on top of you.
Yep. That's quite true. So Johanna's out. We need a tank, and it looks like it's going to be a Mirrodin to go with it. The Miragod, the Goomba Stomper, the Dwarf Tosser, any subtitles there you can add to him. But in terms of the heals, is Cognitive even going to bother at this point? Because the last pick here has to be an Uther. If it's not an Uther, I suspect a Tyrande.
Tyrande would be a really good pairing up with the Mirrodin. That would allow them to really they pick one target. Illidan, Abathur, everybody kind of jumps in on it. But that's okay.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Yeah. They're not going for the Tyrande Lunar Flares with that. Well, wait, hold on. They wouldn't have a support if they picked Tyrande.
She's a half support.
She's a half support.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uther, I think, much more...
He's much safer.
Yeah, safer pick.
That's why I said if it's not going to be an Uther, and it was.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If it wasn't an Uther, it would have been the Tyrande, because she can still go Overflowing Light at 13, and she can do Information Control, another stun, but more importantly, the Hunter's Mark to go for that Illidan.
That's what I was like. I saw Tyrande, I was like, oh man, Tyrande would be great with this lineup. But I was like, wait, hold on. Their heals would be like diminished. But, however, Kael'thas coming in from the last pick. Can he stop the Illidan? Can he get that gravity lapse on the Illidan to really put a stopper in his movement? That's going to be the question. With the Brightwing. The Brightwing polymorph is going to be a really nice mitigation as well.
It's also worth noting, last pick, Kael'thas. What world are we in right now? Yeah. But, I mean, NV Gaming was basically forced, I don't want to say into this exact draft, but they counterpicked extremely well for those first 3 picks. So even if they wanted to run Kael early, they couldn't afford to give up, the Zerto, the Brightwing, the Johanna. So I think that they did extremely well for the counters, but this is a scary lineup from Cognitive, and they're up 1-0 in this game series.
Yeah, and it might be 2-0 given this draft. Drafting is an incredibly important part of this entire game. However, NV Gaming not doing so bad in this draft, but I mean, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. We got Abathur Illidan on the other team. Come on, buddy. That's a pretty tall order for NV Gaming to have to answer. And that's
Come on, Bubba.
Come on, buddy.
That's all I think right there. We're going to be loading into it, ladies and gentlemen. Here goes the countdown. Cursed Hollow for game number 2 of this series. Cognitive and NV Gaming with Cog leading 1-0. It's going to be tough. The team fights, if they can erase Illidan magically, somehow, it's going to come down to like really good timing on Polymorph and Collapse. But even past that, level 10, Uther will have that lens, we'll have the Divine Shield. It's just going to get harder and harder. If we can get a fabulous VP, like if he starts a meta and you VP the people behind him, and critterize immediately, I think we have a chance.
Yes, that's true. That's true. They need to get those miraculous VPs. Hello. That's really just kind of what comes down to it. As you said, you get those VPs, you could possibly win the game. If not, it's gonna be a rough one. Well, on the left-hand side, the game has already started here. We've got NV Gaming Crone on the Kael'thas, Dan Lee for 3 on the Zeratul, Spagooter on the Vala. We've got Insane on the Johanna, and I'm missing somebody. Monkey Lamps Oh, how could I miss that name on the Brightwing?
Well, we actually had to make him change his name back at Here's the Dorm, so because I'm not gonna spoil what it was. But at the same time, the guys in red this round so far, leading the series 1-0. Glorong on Illidan. Get ridiculously hyped for that one. Abathur on Shot, or other way around. Silo and Hospital here with the Mirrodin and the Jaina, and that leaves us with Iacona top. Iacona, more often than not, stuck on the solo lanes when he's playing support. That's something I've noticed over the time.
Iacona's just a lone wolf. Is he actually riding a wolf? I don't think he is. On his Uther.
Might be riding the Grim Reaper in a moment.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's taking a good amount of damage here. Dan Lee for 3, and Crone trying to put some really strong pressure up here, but it looks like there's going to be a little bit of roaming.
A little bit, yeah. I really do expect the Zeratul to kind of go back and forth. Silo will actually find the Dan Lee and just throw a Stormbolt in his face. Other than that, there's not going to be a lot of big variance. I mean, Spagooter and Monkey Lamps are going to try to push down mid as best they can. Dan Lee, will make the cameo appearance. But Glorong and Insane, this is a ridiculous lane because not only is Glorong just an Illidan god, he has the Abba hat. And look at Insane right now. He's already being forced back into his own towers.
Yeah, he's going to be driven insane by this combination because there's just not really a great answer for this. And look, Glorong just backing away, trying to play very safe, doesn't want to play too far forward because there's no experience in it for him at those couple of seconds. That's a very, very nice way to start thinking about how to play the game. Are you really getting something for being in this position? No, back up. Be in a safer position. That's exactly what Glorong did there.
Be in a safer position. That should always be the early game mantra. Could you be in a safer position and still get the work done? If you should, and if you can, do it. Yeah, Monkey Lamp's already coming into the bottom lane with that phase shift. Now he should have it up for the tribute, and the tribute is going to be scheduled between the next 10 to 40 seconds. Not entirely too sure where to land, but you already see now Glorong, 2-minute mark, went straight for the Giants.
Oh, but Dan Lee for 3 is a little bit wise to this. He's actually possibly going to be able to come in here and do some pretty good damage, but Silo now going to actually answer that call. And everybody has to come up here. That's going to actually be a really nice play because that forces a good portion of cognitive gaming to have to go over there and not get perfect soak. That's actually going to look at that experience difference from just that little bit of a maneuver.
Yeah, Hospital coming over from mid was kind of a little bit of an error there. They really did want to try to catch that Zeratul because pushing it up against the Abathur body actually does get that experience. So the bottom lane didn't suffer. It was actually the mid that did right there. But already you see the tribute now up. We got those Stone Bros marching into the bottom lane. Monkey Lamps needs to get out of dodge, and he knows that. But the collapse is just not here. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a poke and soak. And Mr. Shamtu, you called it. Spagooter with that cue.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Crone, can he get the kill on the Abathur? He's so close. Oh, sorry, top lane, there was a little bit of a scuffle. But anyway, yes, can they actually turn this whole fight around for the tribute? It's still going on.
Yep, Dan Lee for 3 is, he was mid, he was soaking, he finds Glorong and Hospital there as well. And we're just going back and forth at this point. The good news for NV Gaming is that Monkey Lamps and the healing is just ridiculously good. But now already you see 4 people down here, nobody in the bottom, nobody in the mid, and that is where this experience is now going to start favoring NV Gaming because the Kael'thas continually pushes in up top, because Dan Lee for 3 is soaking mid, they do have that slight advantage, but they didn't get the tribute, so they will be down in that regard.
You know, in that little talking point, you came up with a great band name, which was Monkey Lamps and the Healing. I'm gonna pen that down for my next band.
I was listening to the radio, Milkman and the 2%. I was mind blown.
That's a really good one as well. Anyway, level 7 coming on in here for both these teams very shortly. And that's where we're going to start seeing some more of the little cheekier talents, a little bit of the weirder things. Zeratul continuing on that entire follow-through auto-attack campaign on his talents. He's got a focus attack at level 4 and then follow-through. That means that both of his... Anytime he casts an ability and then gets a first melee attack, he does a ridiculous damage. And that's pretty much how a lot of people are playing that Zeratul lately.
A lot of people, yeah, this is the #1 build right now. Well, those 4 and 7, that's #1. Level 1 is kind of player dependent. We've seen Seasoned Marksman, we've seen Blink, we've seen Greater Cleave for some strange reason. But you also now see, of course, Regeneration Master, which is what you see with Dan Lee right here. Crone up top will find Glorong. He just transitioned immediately from those bruisers, and Crone is just not going to live through that. There's nothing to stop out Glorong, especially with that cleanse coming out from the Uther. But because there's 2, if 3 up top, you got good numbers bottom lane, and Dan Lee for 3, he will successfully live through this. So will Hospital, but the tribute will go the way of NV for all their efforts.
Yeah, that was a really nice zoning potential coming out there from NV Gaming to be able to get that tribute. Very, very well played there. And that's going to, put them on a little bit of an even footing here because they lost somebody top lane. They could have very easily had a huge loss in that tribute as well. Ooh, going to pick up the Jaina as well. NV coming back out in this game.
I kind of curious where the Jaina actually was. I didn't even see her transition up here. We don't have level 10 here from that Illidan. He is just not the god that he needs to be. Already you see him popping out everything, trying to go down. The Q build is enough. The Vala will get the kill, and this could very well be the boss going over to NV.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice pickup there to get that Illidan. However, Abathur still a terror here. Insane getting engaged on. Oh, they're going to stand on the circle because Insane's so low. If he goes down, there we go. Now they're finally starting to realize they need to be on that cap circle. They're going to pick up Jaina. They're going to pick up the Muradin, and they're going to pick up the Uther. And guess what they're also going to pick up? The boss.
The big bad boss now marching down the top lane. Sounds like the beginning of a children's fantasy novel, but it's just going to do some work. Glorong just absolutely getting picked off there. That was a major point of that fight. And as well, the tribute spawning immediately right behind him. 2 tributes now to NV. Their momentum is definitely starting off very nicely here as they hit heroics, get the second tribute, threatening curse, steal the boss. They're going to be able to now do their own, or perhaps even come say hello to Shot, who is in the bottom lane if they've been paying attention. And this is almost going to be free for them because there's no level 10 on the horizon yet for Cognitive.
Yeah, and this is a really nice pincer maneuver because they don't have those tributes, because they're not on the cusp of a curse here. Picking up this last Grave Golem, guess what? That next tribute spawns before this Grave Golem is over. It's either going to go through a fort or it's going to be able to lag out 1 to 2 members of Cognitive Gaming from getting to that next tribute fight. And NV can put all 5.
Now Shot, he's going to be deep tunneling up to the top. He's here with Glong. They're trying to get as much siege damage done as they can because they know that this next tribute is going to be huge. Already a VP is down. They find Hospital. They're looking for that body block. They don't even need it. The stuns are enough, and Jaina is going to go the way of the dodo just a little bit longer. Tribute spawning bottom, Shamtu. This is perfect positioning for NV. They pick up the fort. The boss will move on, and this is going to be a curse to their name.
NV are doing so incredibly well. They did not like getting knocked out in that first game, and they're starting to take this series back a little bit by little bit. There is the curse. The boss still walking down that bot lane, and they have to go answer Glaurung as well as Shot in this top lane. No, they're just going to go for their second fort of the game.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no point to really go up to the top. If they don't capitalize on this siege damage, they might not get another chance for a while yet. And that fort was done. They knew it. And by the time they got up there, they would have retreated. There would have been lots of vision. There's probably traps and bushes, but I say that there actually isn't. But, I mean, these are the things that go through the players' heads. If you get caught going up there, the early warning system, it defeats the gank. Why not capitalize on some siege damage? And a whole level advantage has accrued from this. And we still have 28 seconds left on that curse. They're not going to rush top. They're just going to start painting this map more blue as they have a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really good call here. Those bruisers are a really nice way to push down that mid lane as well as the top lane. If you forget about those siege golems walking down that, well, guess what? You're going to forget that you had a fort up there too, because it's not going to be on the map anymore. So if they can start using this as a way to pressure that bot lane and possibly pick up more of those keep towers, that's going to be a good idea. Or maybe they just supplement one of these pushes with the bruiser camp or with the siege golems, and they walk down one of those lanes and make that into a nice pressure point as well.
Now, something to note, level 7, you've seen the mule a few times. It's from the Abathur. Level 7 is usually where you see Needle Spine, which is damage and range on the stab. But he forsook it this round, and he went for the mule. And the mule has just been repairing nonstop that top lane. So that is a good thing going here for Cognitive. Even if they do lose out some of these team fights, the Abathur will be able to repair some of the incoming damage. And speaking of damage, that's a clone coming out.
Oh yeah, there's a clone, and here's the engagement. Metamorphosis doing some pretty good work. We're already see that the kill sauce has gone down here. Glaurung now has blood on his tongue. He's going for Dan Lee for 3, and that's gonna be the next kill. Oh man, Insane is in an insane amount of trouble as well. And Cognitive has entered the game. They press start, they put in their quarter, and the arcade machine has allowed them to enter this game. And enter this game they have.
That is a ridiculously scary comp. It wasn't the double Illidan, it was the double Jaina. The Metamorphosis was just so perfectly placed. They got off almost an immediate kill on top of that Kael'thas, and then with all that extra temporary hit points and the double Jaina in the back, ridiculous amounts of damage. You can now see going from 14 to 13, they're almost 15-14. The whole level advantage has been flipped on its head from that one fight.
And meanwhile, while we're all talking about all these things, up in the top lane, a little mule is repairing things. And that fort is back up to full health. So all that little bit of damage that they've been doing to that fort in the top lane, gone.
Gone. Yeah.
Gone.
Power of the
way
mule,
of the
man.
mule.
Yeah. Now, in terms of a battle, Abathur, usually you will see that needle spine, but it's not the end of the world if you give it up, especially if you trust your teammates. You have those double clones ready to go. You do see the Soma transference. It's almost always going to be on that top of that Glaurung, on top of the Johanna, keeping them healthy. It goes very well with the pressurized glands. And then at 16, really kind of different in terms of who wants or who likes to play the different talents at 16, but you could easily go for the movement speed increase, or you go for every spike burst is movement slow, and that again just goes really silly well with a Johanna Illidan.
Well, it seems like we had Monkey Lamps in the bot lane just helping to push that out until he realized that the rest of the team was not going to be there. Now can finally teleport on up here. Envy Gaming was already set up for this fight at 16. Is actually pretty far for both these teams. Dan Lee for 3, looking like he's looking for a little bit of poking to get in here. And this fight is just starting to be absolutely spread out everywhere. Silo finally now gonna actually be the one to engage everything here. A little bit of damage going in here on Glaurung.
Yeah, but it's not the end of the world. Psylocke taking a few shots there as well. Spagooter just needs to make sure that he stays right in the back, and we cannot afford a big clump up. But at the same time, I'm looking for Dan Lee for 3. If we see this big engage, we need to get a VP into that back line, but he is just way too far forward, or way too far back from the front. And all right, they're going to throw it out. They find Glaurung on it, but what are they going to do with this? They can't catch him. The invulnerability comes out. There goes the Zero Kill. He's down. Spagooter's going to drop there as well. You do not want to use the VP that way.
Yeah, that was a really, really rough spot there for them to be in, because Crone was actually in a really awkward position. I'm not sure if that was due to the zoning from Cognitive, where he was trying to get into a really nice flanking position. Unfortunately, as soon as that VP went down and Cognitive decided to engage, Crone was just a little bit too far away, and now he's going to also lose his life as well. That's going to be that second tribute coming out here from Cognitive.
Now, you saw the Thunderstrike right there. The Thunderstrike did 300% damage. Immediately, Kael'thas gets chunked down. But again, you want to put the VP not on Glaurung himself, but you want to be putting on the supporting guys. That Uther, the Hospital, the clones. You want to keep them out of the fight while you bring down the Illidan. He's just too slippery a character. And you saw it right there. He immediately meted. There was no polymorph. The shield came out, no polymorph, and melting, dead, 4-for-0. Exchange, and now a boss, the level advantage. We're looking at the 16 talent, soon to be the 20, and another tribute will be a curse as well for Cognitive.
Yeah, well, good thing here for Envy Gaming. They picked up 16 as well, so they're not going to be too far behind. That Critterize is going to be able to help them melt somebody. Abathur actually gets picked up in the bot lane.
Oh, I was going to say, what lane did he actually die in? Dan Lee for 3 being the sneaky, but will he actually live to tell the tale? Because here comes the rest of everyone. But Insane's also going to be down there as well. Iakona's getting low, but that's going to be a Phoenix. That's going to be the Water Elemental as well. Mirrodin is going to drop here, and that's some big damage. That's level 16 damage right there on Kael'thas. And Hospital likely to be dropping here. You see the guided arrow just trying to find its mark. Iacona as well. Dan Lee catches up at the end of it. 4-for-0, which started on a gank on an Abathur, but now we got to zone and defend, and we're not even going to be able to stop this curse top.
Yeah, and Dan Lee for 3, he did some really good work. Maybe we should start turning his name over to Dan Lee for 4.
Dan Lee for 4. Oh, man.
Well, that curse is going to do a good amount of damage here. Actually, that's going to allow them to take the first keep of the game. That is actually really rough here. is the fact that they won such a huge team fight and still are going to lose so much on this map. So Cognitive takes a pretty good lead here.
They're going for Glorung. He's going to have to meta out of this one. Yeah, he will. Do we actually have anything else to catch him? Blinks are down. We don't have any kind of bolts of the storm, and Glorung will get out of this one. But had he been caught a little bit farther forward, it might have been a different story. And that is the worst thing you can do past level 16 champion. Lemming and stack or stagger your deaths like that, 1 for 1, and you never get a good 5-man team fight after that. Oh, it's absolutely the worst. But it didn't happen. Glorung is okay. 18-18. You said the first keep going down. Well, we're looking for that bottom one, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not with this level of damage.
Yeah, there's not much that could really be done here. It's just going to go down pretty much before it even reaches it. Yeah, before it even reaches it. And here's the scary thing. You know what? We were talking about that mule before. You don't perfectly kill something really quickly. That mule's going to bring it back up to full health anyway.
I don't see a mule right now.
This kind of makes it, well, there's not a mule out there right now.
Okay.
But there is a mule on the Abathur. Yep. In terms of abilities. That's what I was just saying. It's just that if you don't take out that keep in one go, the keep's going to be back up to full health every single time.
Absolutely. So level 16 on the Abathur is actually the adrenaline boost. So this is the movement speed on Carapace. It's not the movement slow on the Spike Burst. So that's that actually came out very useful there. Glorung, help facilitate that escape. You leave that Carapace up. If you don't DPS through it, I mean, you got a good speed boost for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds. So it's not a bad way to go whatsoever. Level 19 on both sides, and all the talents are now just kind of accumulating. It's 0-0 slate, Sham 2. We've had 2 curses, keeps are down, damage was done. Let's take a look at some of those numbers as we wait for this next fight, but it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, very much so. And, they still have that kill thought. Just look at how much damage he did to Glaurung with just 1 Flame Strike. And so this could easily turn around very quickly. It's just getting that Void Prison down. If they can get that Void Prison down in a really good way, or if they get an engagement like the one they had in the bot lane, where they just were able to just kind of work one person by one person by one person. All that really matters here is whether or not they can melt the team before Glaurung and Shot are able to.
I guess I didn't find that mule, but he did repair up that bottom lane. It's absolutely back and pristine right now. And I guess we're just going to be playing around a little bit here with footing. A little bit of footsies as we wait for this next tribute. We do got both eyes going to red. You see Glorung showing himself mid. If everyone goes for Glorung and we have this back-end flank right through this fort, oh man, you could be caught in a really silly sandwich.
Yeah, and that's a silly sandwich. The worst kind of sandwich you want to have on a Saturday afternoon like this one, because that could potentially cost you this entire series here. And that's going to be scary.
Level 20 is achieved, sir, on both sides. Rewinds, bolts. We do actually have Indestructible for our Johanna.
Indestructible is a great talent. Anytime she takes Mortal Strike worth of damage, she gets a full shield, or sorry, shield equal to like a ridiculous amount of her health for 5 seconds. It's so awesome. I love that.
You go to maximum health.
Maximum health, yeah, sorry. And then we also have Demonic Form coming out here from Glaurung as well, so he's going to be constant Metamorphosis.
That 30% increased attack speed, man, goes so well for not only the lifesteal, but the cooldown reduction, keeps him mobile. We have the Redemption, and at level 20, the Hive Mind as well. So even when that clone goes down, Hive Minding on top of Silo, on top of Glaurung, that is now double the fun of Abathur, because that's 2 sets of spike damages. That's 2 sets of stabs. And why were we talking about all this? We did actually have that tribute go the way towards NV Gaming. And so far, Crone, he's just going forward and poking. You see Dan Lee for 3. He got some damage and poked. Glaurung not looking as healthy as he could, but so far, nothing major at this level 20 mark.
And you know what's funny is that we're all kind of just sitting around here, just, kind of having a nice little time here. But this is actually really bad for NV Gaming. They can't sit around. They can't guard this Grave Golem forever. Because if they do, look at Abathur in that top lane. He's making things happen. He's making things work very, very much so in Cognitive's favor. You let him stay alone. You let the maps just start pushing in one way. Abathur's going to push it even harder. And that's why NV Gaming, even though they're sitting around here posturing constantly, it's not going to be in their favor.
Sylaw is going to be the guy looking for this tribute. Doesn't quite get it. Nice bomb there from Dan Lee. What did Dan Lee actually go at 16? He didn't go double bombs. He went Stone Skin.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He wants to stay alive for longer.
Which is a
He
great
wants to
ideal.
live.
It is a great idea, but check this out. During all the poke and soak, nobody even took the tribute bottom. Glorong has been doing this top, and now everybody knows about it. Insane's going to be coming up here. Does avoid out that route. He's looking to condemn and keep this Illidan down, but that's going to be a meta on top of the Kale. What is Kale doing there? He needs to blink, and he doesn't. He is going to drop immediately, and that's a big portion of the DPS now gone from NV. Zeratul going to drop not even a Void Prison, and this is going from bad to worse for NV Gaming.
Oh man, this is gonna be even worse if NCN goes down. Monkey Lamp's now trying to cause a little bit of a distraction, but it doesn't look like it's gonna work. Glaurung still hot on his trails, gonna go down here, and that's 3 down. Can this be 4? That's the question. Hospital going for Monkey Lamps. He's gonna use his bolt, gonna actually get turned into a little bit of a pig.
Yeah, but Glaurung don't care.
You can't hide from Glaurung. And he finds you, and he kills you. And that's now a 4 for naught. And that is a huge victory here for Cognitive. This is...
It's not GG yet.
It's
But
getting close.
yeah, I mean, this is a 20-minute boss with no gate, no fort, no keep. It's going to go straight down here with the help of catapults. So Scooter, he's already trying to, clean out the gutters, so to speak, into this top lane. You got Glorong already now on the move. He's going to be looking for those Stone Bros to be joining this top lane push. The rest of everyone's now coming in. We still have the clone. It's kind of mind-boggling that the tribute is still on the board and nobody's going for it.
Abathur's going for it.
Is he actually going for a shot, making the plays right there? But this is potentially GG right here. Brightwing is still down. We have a VP ready, but will that be enough?
Crone just barely getting back into the fountain before he's going to get taken down here. And now we've got Hospital taking the Divine Shield to get out of here. He needed a Hospital, but oh, the Void Prison to lag out absolutely everything. The Grave Golem's confused. He doesn't know what to do. And it's going to take a couple more seconds, but the core goes down. Cognitive takes the series 2-0.
2-0 with the scary Abathur, Illidan, and well, not quite Johanna, but Muradin this round. It's just a ridiculous kind of comp if you can't lock it down. We did see some instances where they could lock it down, but it just, at the end of it, Kael'thas got blown up immediately. The positioning just wasn't there for some of those last fights, and those are the big fights that matter.
Yeah, those fights, I mean, that last fight really right before the Grave Golem, that was really rough. Positioning there wasn't the best for NV Gaming. Cognitive was able to take perfect advantage of that. And that's one thing we really didn't bring out that much about Cognitive, is that their positioning was really good in most of those team fights. And the fact that they're just Hospital was in the back line, just able to wail away while everybody was just pairing up and trying to take out Glaurung, that was the big thing that really NV kind of had an issue with, was the fact that Glaurung was doing so much and they were all focusing on him, but Jaina was the one who was also doing damage too.
Jaina, clone Jaina, and into the back, Vala, wrong team. No, it was just Jaina. It was literally just Jaina and clone
Just Jaina.
She did take home top damage overall, 29,000.
Yep.
Hospital, just doing really ridiculously good things in that.
He is a
backline.
really bad Hospital. They're supposed to...
It's the pain Hospital. But they did well, and 2-0, not really a big thing for them. I mean, they kind of played it out. They had a few mistakes, but still, they played out the maps phenomenally. Abathur with the split pressure. The battle Abathur has really come into style this meta, and they won. I mean, it was clean 2-0. NV Gaming back to the drawing board. We'll perhaps see you guys in August for the next qualifier, and Cognitive will move on. And I believe we actually follow Cognitive into the next round.
Ooh,